to reserve your seat today, 9 June 2025, 7 p.m. Shape with future, grow with knowledge. Join us. Revolutionizing agriculture through the intelligence of innovation. Explore how generative AI is driving the future of sustainable farming. Bridging AI and agriculture. The role of generative models in sustainable farming. Join Professor Roshan Ragel from the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, a pioneer in AI and computer engineering, as he unveils the potential of generative technologies in transforming agriculture. This is episode 6 of our exclusive Pre-Symposium webinar series leading to the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Scan the QR code or visit the website to reserve your seat today, 9 June 2025, 7 p.m. Shape with future, grow with knowledge. Join us. Revolutionizing agriculture through the intelligence of innovation. Explore how generative AI is driving the future of sustainable farming. Bridging AI and agriculture. The role of generative models in sustainable farming. Join Professor Roshan Ragel from the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, a pioneer in AI and computer engineering, as he unveils the potential of generative technologies in transforming agriculture. This is episode 6 of our exclusive Pre-Symposium webinar series leading to the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Scan the QR code or visit the website to reserve your seat today, 9 June 2025, 7 p.m. Shape with future, grow with knowledge. Join us. Revolutionizing agriculture through the intelligence of innovation. Explore how generative AI is driving the future of sustainable farming. Bridging AI and agriculture. The role of generative models in sustainable farming. Join Professor Roshan Ragel from the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, a pioneer in AI and computer engineering, as he unveils the potential of generative technologies in transforming agriculture. This is episode 6 of our exclusive Pre-Symposium webinar series leading to the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Scan the QR code or visit the website to reserve your seat today, 9 June 2025, 7 p.m. Shape with future, grow with knowledge. Join us. Revolutionizing agriculture through the intelligence of innovation. Explore how generative AI is driving the future of sustainable farming. Bridging AI and agriculture. The role of generative models in sustainable farming. Join Professor Roshan Ragel from the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, a pioneer in AI and computer engineering, as he unveils the potential of generative technologies in transforming agriculture. This is episode 6 of our exclusive Pre-Symposium webinar series leading to the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Scan the QR code or visit the website to reserve your seat today, 9 June 2025, 7 p.m. Shape with future, grow with knowledge. Join us. Revolution.
Okay, very good evening to all of you. So before we begin, may I kindly check if I am audible?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thank you. I am Prabhat from Faculty of Agriculture. Today I am giving the welcome note for this session. I'm sorry, still I am on the way. That's why I cannot switch on my video. So anyway, so it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to episode 6 of the Pre-Symposium webinar series of International Symposium on Agriculture Environment, we call ISAE 2025. So today's webinar focus on a timely and impactful topic, bridging AI and agriculture, the role of generative models in sustainable farming. So today we are honored to have Professor Roshan Ragel from Department of Computer Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, as our speaker today. So today's session will be moderated by Professor Sudas D. Vanyarachi, coordinator of ISAE 2011 from the Department of Soil Science, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Roshan. So he has been a strong leader of the faculty and a supporter of ISAE since it is beginning. So, and we are delighted to have him moderate today's session. So thank you once again for joining us today, and we look forward to a productive and inspiring discussion. So now I kindly invite Professor Anyarachi to take over the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhat. I think I'm audible. Good evening to everyone, including Professor Ragel, our invited speaker today, and all the participants. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to moderate this very important topic of bridging AI in agriculture, the role of generative model in sustainable farming. Today, we will have this session. We have time for 2 hours total time. And after my brief introduction, I will hand over to Professor Ragel, our speaker, and then we will have a question and answer session about 15 to 30 minutes, and then final wrap up about 5 to 10 minutes. So before I start this session, I will give you a brief session note on International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment. We are having it. We started that one in 2011. I just happened to be the first coordinator of the inaugural edition of the ISA. So I'm very delighted to see how far we have come. And we have, since 2011, we have hosted many symposia, many ISA editions. And this year we are having the main event in Colombo, Golf Fest Hotel in September. So we would like to see many people attending that symposium also. And other thing is that this year we are having many pre-symposium webinars prior to the main event. So this is the 6th pre-symposium webinar hosted by our faculty, the ISA International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment organizers. And today's topic is a very timely topic, as Dr. Prabhat mentioned. And actually, these days, AI, artificial intelligence, is the buzzword. So it's a very hot topic. So I would see that people getting a good introduction to AI in agriculture, and also from an expert in computer engineering. And also I will soon introduce Professor Ragel, and you'll see how much he's experienced in many of the aspects that we are going to talk about. So I think it is we will have a Q&A session. I think you can ask questions. I hope there'll be a lot of questions, and also some of our academic staff, if you have, please share your experiences trying to use AI in your research or in your teaching. I think this is the best place to get the feedback from Professor Ragel. So I think we will have, hopefully we will have a very productive session. So now let me introduce Professor Roshan G. Ragel. It's a pleasure to introduce him because he's an outstanding researcher, scientist, and academic in our Sri Lankan university system. Let me go through his some of the. He's a high achiever. He has a lot of accomplishments to his name. Professor Ragel is currently a professor in computer engineering at the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, and also he is a professional member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and also that is IEEE and IEEE Computer Society. And also he's been a visiting research scholar, visiting professor at University of New South Wales, QUT, Queensland Institute of Technology, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and also Australian National University. He got his BSc Engineering from the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, and got his PhD from the University of New South Wales, Australia. And he has authored more than 200 peer-reviewed articles, co-authored peer-reviewed articles on Internet of Things, wearable computing, bioinformatics, and artificial intelligence and machine learning. And he has won many awards, and I will read some of the main awards. He was the most prolific Sri Lankan author award from the Elsevier Research in 2017, and also he won the Presidential Award for Scientific Publication on several occasions. And he was also named the top scientist in computer science in Sri Lanka by AD Scientific Index in 2021 and 2022, and also the best computer scientist in the country from 2023 to 2025. So he also won the National Educator Gold Award 2024 for computing. And also that is given to the best academics in the higher education sector. And also he has received 2025 IEEE Computer Society Mary Kenneth Keller Computer Science and Engineering Undergraduate Teaching Award, and a prestigious award. He's the first academic to receive this award from the Global South. So this prestigious honor recognizes his outstanding contribution to undergraduate education through innovative teaching, research, dedicated service, etc. And he's been involved with many things nationally. Also, he's the current consulting CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Lanka Research and Education Network, popularly known as LEARN. And he's been involved with that since 2017. And he has done so many national contributions. Among them, and at national level, he's been the UGC Standing Committee on the Development of IT Infrastructure and Online Education, and also UGC appointed committee to develop the concept of virtual hybrid university. And he also served as a member of the presidential committee to formulate the AI strategy for Sri Lanka. So we have the best person to speak on AI today with us. And also, he also works with ICTA Sri Lanka to steer the AI in Sri Lanka initiative, leading the skills and curricula pillar. He is also a founder of the AI Forum for Academics. This academic syndicate explores the opportunities and challenges of generative AI in higher education, and it is based at the University of Peradeniya. There are so many achievements and accomplishments to his name. We are pleased to have Professor Roshan G. Ragel as our main speaker today. With that introduction, I would like to invite Professor Ragel to deliver his speech. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that very long introduction. And it's my honor and privilege to be part of your symposium. Let me share my screen. Let's start with a video clip. I hope you see the screen, which is so far black and few dots, and the sound.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I am a visionary. Illuminating galaxies to witness the birth of stars. And sharpening our understanding of extreme weather events. I am a helper, guiding the blind through a crowded world.
I was thinking about running to the store.
And giving voice to those who cannot speak.
Do not make me laugh.
I am a transformer, harnessing gravity to store renewable power. And paving the way toward
towards unlimited clean energy for us all. I am a trainer, teaching robots to assist, to watch out for danger, and help save lives. I am a healer, providing a new generation of cures and new levels of patient care.
Doctor, that I am allergic to penicillin. Is it still okay to take the medications?
Definitely. These antibiotics don't contain penicillin, so it's perfectly safe for you to take them.
I am a navigator, generating virtual scenarios to let us safely explore the real world and understand every decision. I even helped write the script. Breathe life into the words en muchos idiomas y escribí la música. I am AI, brought to life by NVIDIA, deep learning, and brilliant minds everywhere.
So as you saw in the video clip, AI in general, and also these days the special type called generative AI, is changing the way how world works. Starting from, let's say, music, so even composing music, to driving vehicles, to helping doctors diagnose diseases. So it's everywhere. But we have still a lot of challenges. And particularly in the topic for our conference, and mostly on this today's topic on agriculture and AI. If you take agriculture and in general, the Sustainable Development Goal, which was derived from the Millennium Development Goal, as you might know, talks a lot about the challenges the world faces so far. And a number of them, or large number of them, are related to a field like agriculture. I have just highlighted a few. Poverty, or the goal is no poverty, no hunger, responsible consumption of consumption and production, climate action, good health, well-being, life below water, clean water and sanitation, life on land. All of this in one way or the other has some connection to an industry, something as big and important as agriculture. Now that AI can come and do so many different things, like I mentioned earlier, can it help or can it work with a field like agriculture? So that is what we are going to discuss today. Generative AI in agriculture, or the longer version, bridging AI and agriculture, the role of generative AI models or generative models in sustainable farming. So how generative models like generative AI and AI in general can come together in or with agriculture, so that we can do better as human being, sustainability goals or achieve sustainability. So that's what we are going to discuss. So I'll do this by introducing AI, a very brief introduction to AI. AI is now a topic everyone talks about, and therefore we should get a basic understanding, or at least what it is and where it is relevant and so on. So that's the very quick intro. And from there, we'll go into how AI and generative AI is changing the way how a field like agriculture works and its applications. Then I'll go into some challenges we face particularly in the field of agriculture and also in general in every other field. There are large number of challenges when a new technology like as disruptive as the technology we are talking about, AI. A technology like AI, when it is introduced to any field, including agriculture, there are a large number of challenges. So we'll see what those challenges are. Then we'll see what can we do? What can we do to overcome or to work around these challenges so that a technology as strong as AI can help us, the society. Then I'll talk a little about what we are doing in Sri Lanka in this direction, and then I'll conclude. So that's the plan for the next about 50 minutes or so. So to start, let's start with AI. I have a small timeline, 1940 to 2020, about, so it's basically the history, a very brief milestones on AI in AI history. So AI is a very new compared to something like agriculture, very new field, but not as new as how the world knows it. In general, we talk about AI very recently a lot, particularly since the introduction of generative AI tools like ChatGPT to the general public, right? So, but AI as a topic is relatively old in that sense. 1942 is when UK or British scientist in the name of Alan Turing was tasked by the government to build a machine to break some encryption, some secret sent by the enemy army. So he built a system that broke the Enigma machine, it was called, the encryption machine. That is 1942. At that time, or around that time, this Alan Turing, the scientist, realized, so it's possible for a technology like this to be like human, to be like smart, to be like intelligent. He didn't call this idea AI or artificial intelligence, but he built came up with a test known as the Turing test in 1950, where we can use this test to figure out whether a machine has got intelligence like people. In fact, in 1950s, I don't think he thought that so soon, within 75 years, we will be able to build machines that can break his test. In fact, last year's researchers have proven that something like Turing test, a test that checks machines to see whether it is a machine or a person or differentiate between machines and people. Last year, the test was broken. So machines can now pretend like people for this particular test, the Turing test. Are the machines like people? Not really. We will discuss more about them later. Machines are still not like people. There are a lot of differences. AI systems are not like people. There are a lot of differences. But the test we put in 1950 seems to be not that good enough to differentiate people and machines. And therefore, researchers are working on coming up with new tests that can still differentiate people and machines now again, one more time. So that's just some history and what happened in 1950s and what's happening now. Since then, a lot of other work, starting from the name artificial intelligence given to this idea or these systems, happened in 1955 or so. That's the time when we called this intelligence or the smartness of machines as artificial intelligence. And we build chatbots. Chatbots, like tools like WhatsApp, but it talks one side it's person, the other side it's a machine. So the very first chatbot is known as Eliza, was built in 1964, pretty long time back. And since then, there are more that particular chatbot was very primitive. And since then, we have built more chatbots like 1995, something called Alice, very popular one. And now we have built a lot of more chatbots, but these chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini and Cloud and also hundreds and hundreds of different chatbots that are built based on what is known as these fundamental models or foundation models are becoming so and so popular now. As you might know, a chatbot like ChatGPT broke records in how it attracted the large number of users in very short amount of time. Within 2 months, it attracted about millions of users. So these things have been happening, and something that was very a breakthrough, would say, happened in 1997 when a machine called Deep Blue, it was built by a very big company at that time, IBM. The Deep Blue machine in 1997, say 1997 is pretty long time back, right? So was able to beat the then chess champion. Chess is supposed to be a very smart game for very smart people. So 1997, a computer was able to beat the then chess master. 1997. At that time, we thought a machine can beat chess, yes, but there are more complex things, lot more complex things that machines can't do for the near future. But lot has happened since then. Like, for example, right now, the GPT models, the generative models, and how ChatGPT like platforms are performing. And even little earlier in 2000s or 2010s and 20s, early 20s, a lot has happened since then. So this is to give you a brief understanding about where we are in terms of this technology known as artificial intelligence. The breakthrough happened, a very serious one, in 2017, or actually 2016-17, when a company called DeepMind, a company from the European, like UK, called DeepMind, built a system or a software or an AI system for that matter, called AlphaGo. AlphaGo. AlphaGo is actually again another game engine, something similar to the IBM's Deep Blue, which was 1997. This we are talking about 2017. You can see it took a while to build a system called AlphaGo that was able to beat the then Go master. Go is a Chinese game, a board game, very much like chess, but it is considered much more complicated for a simple reason that it has so many more uh, uh, the cells or the spheres or the places to move around. So in fact, the number of combinations of a chess game is somewhere in the order of 10 to the power 40s, and the number of combinations in a Go game is somewhere in the order of 10 to the power 170s. So it's a lot more and so many combinations. In 1990s, when we were able to build machines to beat the chess champion, the computer scientists were thinking, okay, so this is possible, but a game like Go, we don't think it's going to happen any soon because of the sheer number of possibilities. The yeah.
Professor Roshan, I think there are some connectivity problems, I guess, from your side.
No, I don't see any issue. I'm still there. Network also is okay. I'm not sure. What about now? Am I not in the meeting? Hello. Today
I think Professor Roshan is facing some connectivity issues, so I contacted him, and he will disconnect and connect again. So please be with us. I think he's in China and attending some uh, official work there. So please be with us, and he will come back soon. We are very sorry to face this kind of a connectivity issue. Professor Roshan, are you in? Hello. We are in.
What about now?
Now, okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Right. So give me a second. Let me connect it. Sorry about that. Let me put this back. I hope you can see the screen and hear me well now.
Yes, Roshan, yes.
Right, thank you. Thank you, and sorry about that disturbance. Looks like suddenly the people in this country decided not to let me talk in this room. Okay. So I was talking about the Nobel Prize and the company DeepMind, who build Alpha. I see some message. Hope everything is okay. Yeah, okay. Right. So those who build DeepMind or the company be DeepMind, and those who build the AlphaFold was able to win the Nobel Prize for Chemistry, which is something different in the history of the prize for chemistry. And let me now take a moment to compare the AI systems which are becoming so good compared to human performance. Here is a graph which shows the line here, the dark line is the black line is the human performance, 100% human performance, actually the average human performance. And then there are some color lines which go across, as you can see, over human performance of various AI systems. AI systems that are built for specific purposes. You can see something like image classification. Classifying by looking at images, can you put them into different groups or classes? We started building those systems way back in early 2000. By 2012, we had systems that can do classifying of these images about 90% accuracy. But over time, somewhere in 2016, 17, the time when we figured deep learning, we were able to build systems which are better, AI systems which are better than people in terms of image classification. Not just that, many other tasks like understanding a language, looking at some visuals and reasoning about it. And there's something like reading comprehension. Medium level reading comprehension is like as high school at that time or school where you can read and comprehend. What does it mean? You read and then you answer questions which are based on that reading that you do. So such reading machines somewhere in 2018, 19, they were able to do better again than people. And understanding a language machines can do better, like English particularly in this case. So even recently, there have been tests in 2023, 2024 on making AI systems to answer PhD level science questions. Those systems are by 2024 are able to do better, as you can see from this graph, the blue one, than people. So a couple of things to consider here. One, yes, when it comes to a specific task, these are specific tasks. When it comes to a specific task, if you can train AI models, they are able to do better than human. 1 point. So when you specific task, AI models, if you build them properly, train them properly, they are able to do better than human. What do we mean? The second point is, what do we mean by better? Better here means they are able to pass certain tests that we devised. The tests are things that we devised for checking human competency. For example, if you take reading comprehension, we not only like train people or teach people, make people to learn, comprehend reading, but also we have tests. So those tests we devised, and those tests we were using those tests to check whether human can comprehend or read and understand. The word understand is very much what is known as like an overloaded word, a word where you have a lot of meaning. When you say human understand something, it doesn't just mean the logical or the logical understanding alone, or the meaning of the word understanding alone. It also means the contextual understanding. It also means the emotional understanding, various other aspects. But when we set up tests like the reading comprehension test, we rarely check for those. We just checked for simple things. And those tests, these machines like AI systems are able to do better. That is what it means. One, yes, when you build these systems and train, they surpass human performance. The second one, something that you have to keep remembering or reminding, is that these tests were built these tests were not comprehensively built, we would say. Very much like how Turing test was, I explained earlier. So Turing test was built in or set up in 1950. And now, why was it set up? To see whether we can build machines that are as good as people. But we have built these machines and they are able to beat the Turing test now or pass the Turing test now. But do we have machines that are as complex and as multimodal as human? No, we don't. But that's where we are. So can we use this potential? Can we use the good part about all this to do things better? And particularly in a field like agriculture is what we wanted to see today. And specifically, it is very important that we look at this, because like Sri Lanka very much depends on agriculture. We have a really high potential to make a big difference using AI and generative AI economically as a country, as a population. We are able to make a big difference. Why would I say so? Here is some evidence. So this is on the right. You see some graphs with numbers, and in the interest of time, without going through all the details of the graph, just the last one here. See that it basically shows annual revenue through AI and generative AI. The expected, these are predicted. These predictions are from a little old, and the recent predictions are being done, and it estimates that these numbers are going to be even higher. But the prediction says that AI and generative AI will contribute to about 25 or 17 to 25 trillion dollars to its world's economy. That's a really big number, by the way. So if you take Sri Lanka's economy, the annual GDP is in the order of less than 100 billion dollars. So here we are talking about $25,000 billion, $25 trillion. So that's the that's the amount of change in the economy in the world we are talking about. Even if it can take a small portion of this economical growth due to AI and generative AI, we think we can make a big difference in the country's economy. This has happened in the past through various other industrial revolutions. Many other countries, many other economies have come out well. Good examples are countries like Singapore, countries like South Korea, has come out really well. And we think here is one more opportunity that we should not miss. So how in all this, things like AI come in and help feel like agriculture? Before we go into more details into the field and look at various examples, I believe most of you have more experience and the know-how on agriculture compared to myself. I'm someone who is have more understanding about AI and how it can be applied to different fields. And here I'm talking about how I think we can apply generative AI or AI into agriculture for economic growth, for sustainability of the humankind. So here is one quote I took from a 2024 article. So the quote goes as, it talks about agriculture. Certified crop advisor exam, ChatGPT 3.5, the GPT 3.5 model was able to do as good as as human, obviously, in the advice exam, crop advice exam. These exams are given, standardized tests are given to individuals who become crop advisors. If these tools can do the job or pass the exam, can we use such tools for such work? That's the question. So like this, there are so many different examples and opportunities where we can use AI and generative AI in agriculture. Let's take a look at a few examples that I was able to research and find. And by the way, I'm also working with many other collaborators on similar projects in how we can use AI in agriculture. Some of them I will mention time to time. PhD projects and master's level and also bachelor's level projects in various areas where AI and agriculture come, or computer science and agriculture and AI and agriculture can come together. So here is an overall diagram which highlights the different sectors in agriculture and how technology like AI and also the latest generative AI can come and help. Starting from things like smart farming, where we can use prediction or predictive analysis or analytics, and monitoring, various type of monitoring. So we do build systems here in Sri Lanka with our agriculture faculty experts on monitoring systems. A lot of different type of monitoring systems, disease diagnosis system, disease identification systems, various type of disease in agriculture, plants, and so on. So crop monitoring. Irrigation systems is another area. Irrigation is a challenge. One is coming out as in multiple sustainable development goals. So can we use AI to make smart irrigation systems that can keep this planet still nourished and sustained? Pest management, you can use AI systems there. Livestock health and productivity tracking. So several places there whether we can use where we can use AI and generative AI. Farm machineries, autonomous systems, like we saw even in that video clip I played earlier. Autonomous vehicles are becoming more and more prevalent, and particularly in control environment like a farm or a factory, these autonomous systems have become so popular. Right? So there are factories which are operated without people, and there are farms which are operated without people, where autonomous vehicles can, because they are controlled, limited environment, not public road. So those are places where we can again use AI and generative AI. Supply chain, managing them efficiently, predictions on market pricing, and various other public relations, marketing related activities. Something else I mentioned earlier is disease detection in crops. We also work on a number of projects in that area. Specific solutions to farming. So these are some highlights of areas where we can use, potentially use AI. And let me go through a few examples, starting from crop production. In crop production, again, we have a lot of sub topics, soil and climate analysis, seed and input selection, different cultivation planning related, pest, disease, and other deficiency like nutrition deficiencies, detecting them, more prediction, processing related, so many different places where we can use. So some examples. So here is one on data collection using generative AI. So all these where you can do generative AI or use generative AI. When it comes to AI, machine learning and generative AI, data matters. Collecting such data, and also later stages we'll also see not just collecting, some places synthetically generating appropriate data will help a lot in terms of these topics and how we can do the topic like how we can use them for improving the productivity of these systems. So we can, there are a lot of applications in places like seed selection, and there are large language models specifically built or designed for agriculture type fields. There are research articles and publications on it, and also applications which are built by companies. I'll take some examples which can be used. Large language models is, or in short, LLM, the type of the data representation of the generative AI models that are used. Like for instance, if you take ChatGPT, it uses a large language model, and similar with all the other generative AI engines. They all use, or generative AI systems, they all use large language models. So it can be used, LLMs, this can be used to do expansive data processing. It can be used for analyzing or integration of unstructured data. Also can be used for multi-feature problem, different problem where you have multiple facets or multi-model. We can use them. Here is an example. I see that this topic or this tool is coming up several times, called the AgriCopilot, something that is an agronomy advisor or virtual advisors, where it gives advice on various aspects. And the website where it is available is agricopilot.ai. Like many other AI tools, here is one that supports agriculture related. And not just that, there are tools which can be used, even generative AI tools, that can be used for image processing, or even things like generating images. So here is when you don't have enough images, for example, even our research work where we do plant disease recognition, when you don't have enough data to train some of these models, it's also possible to use what is known as synthetic data, or we can create a realistic looking data using these models for more work. And we can use it for marketing and advertising. We can use it for various other 3D recognition, reconstruction, and so on. So this is again coming from the AgriCopilot tool, many more. We can also use generative AI for decision making. We have been using it for a while, and places like agriculture, where it has a multiple multiple inputs and models or modes, weather, soil and environment, and various analysis based on that decision making are possible using these tools. Another tool is called agroscot, which is available in agros-scot.com, and a generative AI, an AI system that we can use for stand count. That's again yield prediction and so on, as you might know. We can use other tools. There's one from the many larger companies working on agriculture sector, larger information technology IT companies working on agriculture sector applications, because it's of its importance and also the contribution it can make. Here is one that's from IBM, AgroPad. They have systems for soil health monitoring and further analysis of yield prediction, carbon footprint estimations, and various other applications. And there are also applications on disease and pest detection. Image-based applications, large number of them are also there in doing so. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, we are also doing a number of projects on plant health monitoring using images, using different type of photographs or various other techniques, like looking at other conditions in combinations with photos. In all these applications, as good as people, or as good as experts, these AI systems are able to help. We have shown that they have been helpful in those areas. In fact, recently we wrote an article on how different, a review article on how different AI systems can help plant disease related work. We have analyzed, or we have reviewed about 200 different articles that are published in the recent past in the area, and therefore it's a very hot and timely topic related to agriculture and AI. So we can also use AI for optimized resource allocation. So whether it is water management, whether it is fertilizer optimization, pesticide efficiently using them, or energy usage, reducing them. So energy sector, as you will know, or another important sector, and not just in agriculture but in general. So where again generative AI systems can be used, and there are examples of them being used. So in the interest of time, I'm going to go a bit faster, but there are also livestock related, another agriculture, livestock farm. We can use AI systems in the whole, as I tool chain, like completely in every part of the system, starting from environmental resource monitoring, input optimization, like we mentioned earlier for the other sectors, management, health and disease and health monitoring, reproduction and breeding, output prediction and harvesting, all these different areas. So processing and quality control, we can use AI tools and systems. Here are some examples. AI Herd is a tool that is looking at livestock related. I also have some numbers, but in the interest of time, I'm skipping them. And there are a lot of work recently done related to livestock related in research. Like I mentioned earlier, AlphaFold is a system that is related. I'm getting. Okay, there's some questions. I'll answer them when we finish. And also aquaculture type places where there are a lot of, again, we can use AI systems in fact, like underwater, a large number of drones related, and also various other projects where AI is becoming prevalent and useful. And we do some projects in that area as well, including things like feeding systems, remote monitoring, predictive maintenance, so many different areas where we use AI systems again there. There's so many of them happening, and therefore I'll not talk about all of them. And in the extension and also marketing, again, we can use AI systems for advisory platforms. We already saw an example earlier under some other topic. Similar things can also apply here. Okay, so let me turn off my video and see. Yeah. Right, so marketing and forecasting, we can use AI. AI is pretty useful in situations like marketing, and obviously they were forecasting for a long time. Further on optimization, I mentioned about supply chain optimization earlier as well, and some other relevant topic. And decision support, we can use AI systems there as well. So here is some stats on generative AI and how generative AI can add value to these topics. So we in fact, like it goes into, as you just to explain this is a study coming out of McKinsey's report, and you can see this two-dimensional image like data where we are talking about the different type of applications and the input, and the two halves here on the rectangles. The upper half is supposed to be the contribution from generative AI, and the lower half is the contribution from AI. AI and generative AI both are contributing to this, but you can see most of the field, like if you take something like R&D product, and maybe I'll take a different one, marketing and sales. And if you take seed of crop protection, where we have the generative AI giving significant improvement of value increment of 0.25 to 2.5, while AI is giving more than 2.5% improvement. So such studies are being done, and we see that they are contributing significantly in the value chain. AgroFlow was another tool that I found where it can do pricing and margin management through various interfaces. So for market overview, we can in fact use, I had a demo, okay, so it's just here. We can use many generative AI tools. Here I was just doing it using Grok, the X or the Twitter's AI tool. In fact, like the questions I asked is about of certain product. Particularly, I asked, I think, about carrot or something, and we got the data that it generates are coming real time and not real time. I mean, from the search, and it was accurate. We can also use it for because like if you can use generative AI tools for advisory, you can also use it for customer experience and customer services. We can also use it in many other places like sales growth and productivity management, and how we can do what you call predictions of those. So I have just highlighted a number of opportunities, some possibilities that are available in various agricultural sectors. And let's now quickly look at some challenges. When you talk about technology, it's not they all come with only the positives, they also have their own challenges. So let's look at some of them. One of the major challenge of AI tools and also any like any IT or digital technology is related to cybercrime. So cybercrime, even in a field like agriculture, with when technology or the AI and IT is involved or digital technology is involved, are a concern. Here are some examples. Ransomware attacks have been happening, and even recent times they are reported. And phishing scams. So ransomware, as you know, someone get hold of your data and demand or your data or your system and demand money for restoring them. And phishing scams are someone pretending to be somebody else and using that leverage to get access to your systems. Data manipulation. Now that generative AI can generate most of this data, it's possible to alter and make changes to existing data, and those are challenges. So the consequence of these challenges, in particular in the field of agriculture, is threat to food security, obviously economic repercussions, and also health risk. So there are a number of work that are done. Again, there we see number of recent sources of these attacks and the challenges due to then the problems due to these attacks. Even I was trying to do some of my own and just using the tools to check some information. Like I told you, when I searched for grok earlier with some data on market price, it gave right answers. But then I used another platform called Perplexity to search for some information related to research, and the answers it gave is wrong. And also, so this is related to misinformation. Sometimes these tools give wrong information, and even if you ask again, second time strongly suggested that the answer it is giving. I'll not go into the details of the answer in the interest of time, but the point is sometimes this tool can be completely wrong, and if you don't know, then you might end up in the wrong place. So you should also be very careful and double check these answers. But then third time when I was very strong and I was saying provide evidences for its wrong answer, it said, okay, very sorry, it's a wrong answer. I'm sure you all have similar experiences. And these AI-enabled systems can also bring other challenges, like a few I have listed here: biothreats, biothreat engineering. So where the systems can generate and make better like things that are challenging and things that are threatening to the humankind. Synthetic data poisoning, it can generate data which are more like real but wrong and poison or make the existing data not useful. It can also biodiversity, it can impact because it's possible to do things like GMO with the technology that we have. And not just only using AI, but also the relevant other biotechnology and so on. More challenges are on the over-reliance of AI. So when you, like I said earlier, if you depend on AI and if you are not very sure, and also particularly if you don't know that you are not very sure, then you are in trouble. So there are a large number of such examples. Further, there are also ethical and legal challenges in using AI. So the data can be biased, meaning it is not generic. It can be negative towards certain group of people and positive towards certain other group of people, and so on. So there are other challenges like measurement bias and aggregation bias. These are different type of challenges that we face, where the data that these systems use to train and give answers could also have problems, and those problems can be actually magnified by these systems. What I mean by that is, for example, let's say we are talking about data of a certain country, and if the country has a certain population which are of higher percentage and another ethnicity or population which are of lower percentage, then the data that we produce as a country will be of one side. And therefore, whoever uses the system is going to give answers based on the large amount of data. So that's normally a problem. And also this is also coming into picture when those who are having access to such system will generate more data and will also have the influence on the system's biasness because of their the status and whether they can use these systems more and more. So those are ethical and also challenge biasness, ethical considerations, and also challenges. What do we do about this? So some of the consideration I have highlighted for the challenges we face: cybersecurity related, data privacy. We had to make sure that we are educating or building the capacity of everyone in this particular example, agriculture sector, on developing their capacity. And we also have to educate and also make sure we build the Data Privacy and Security Act and also the guidelines and also support on providing the required security and also privacy of data. And we also had to come up with policy framework so that everyone who is using the system, building these systems, adapt and be careful with what they do. So, and also we had to figure out how we can, like I mentioned about synthetically generating this data. So when such data are generated, in research, when such data are generated or any data generated, there are regulations and there are ethical boards who are looking at how this data generated and what it means. So now that the generative AI can generate this data so quickly and fast, we should be having ways of quality controlling this data, standardizing this data and the protocol that are used for generating this data, and how what sort of data augmentation techniques we can use. And one more consideration is promoting AI ethics. Actually, the UN Agents for Education, UNESCO, has proposed that every citizen of a country, actually every student for that matter, they are talking about education, so every student should be now educated on AI literacy. So AI literacy is becoming a fundamental learning or fundamental learning basically everyone should have. And the fundamental learning includes the AI and what it means and its applications, one. And the second one is AI ethics. So how we use AI, when you use AI, what happens, and the most important one is the impact of using AI systems on the society. If we are going to start using AI for the good in a society, and particularly in a field like agriculture, which has influence in the whole society as a whole, and how when such use, how it will impact the society. So that is part of the ethics, and we had to, part of the literature, the part of the literacy that everyone should have. And with that, we had to make sure we are promoting ethics when you are using AI, the ethical use of it, and their guidelines. So a few things that are done in Sri Lanka in this line is I was introduced, I was part of a team who prepared what is known as the Sri Lanka's national AI strategy that was released in 2020, last year actually. It was released last year, and here is the QR code. You can scan and go to the website. It's a document which talks about what is expected in Sri Lanka as a strategy, national strategy with AI for 2030. That document was available for about a year for public consumption and feedback, and now a team of lawyers are working on bringing it as an act, or either part of our Data Protection Act or as a separate act, where this will become part of the country's law. And in addition to this, we also been working recently on the list this year. We are also working on the ICTA, National ICT Agency is working on what is known as AI steering or AI activities. We have been focusing, a team of us are focusing on different areas, like how do we build infrastructure to support AI? How do we build and support collecting data? How do we promote researchers to collect data, academics to collect data, so that our data, local Sri Lankan data, will be available for AI systems to be trained, and therefore they become useful for Sri Lanka. Whether we can use AI systems for government services. In fact, one or two systems, this 19191 system is being now converted to AI, and we are converted to the use of AI so that it can help people. So the AI systems can help people. And the similar things can happen a lot in places like agriculture, because it's a public facing industry, and where a lot of requirements and communication is required, particularly, for example, from the agricultural experts like you all, whether you can support a general public. Even if you can't one by one support, you can build systems like the examples I gave using AI without a lot of trouble. It can be done very fast now. And these systems can provide even local language-based support in local languages, 24/7 and quick. So government services is a place where we are also seeing how AI systems can be used. We are also working on developing skills or capacity of people. And we are also looking at other angles like regulatory and ethics, like I mentioned earlier, how AI can be used in different industries and startups, making sure people are aware of the AI literacy I mentioned earlier. That is another team working on it. Then R&D, because if you are going to be, if you want to be on par with the world, and also to develop these systems better and make use of the best of it, we had to develop our R&D arm as a country. So that's something that we are again working on. So again, there are some details about the team and the type of work that we are doing right now, and this QR code will take you there. And if you are interested, any one of you are interested in working with us and supporting the national development, please let me know. I can connect you with the right people, depends on which area you want to work in. So right now this steering committee has a 3-year plan by 20. Well, like I said, the strategies we started actually in 2023, and we developed the document by 2024. That is about 2030, and the steering is for the next 3 years. We are talking to different funding agencies, different applications, different sectors in the government, private, and so on, where we can drive and make some change. So all your support is required. So just to now to conclude, so those are the things that we are doing in Sri Lanka, and there are a lot of work that is happening in the industry to some extent, and also various other sectors. So we had to do a lot more to make Sri Lanka a country where we can use AI systems to do things better. To conclude, generative AI in a field like agriculture is making a really big impact, as you can see in this graph, and it's expected to make a lot more impact. 30% improvement is expected in the years from last year for the 10 years. And therefore, there is a lot that can be done. And particularly areas that are having higher impact are highlighted here: precision farming, livestock monitoring, drone analytics, labor management are on the top in terms of percentage. And these are the places where you can contribute and learn. And something just to for all of us to reflect before we finish. This is a report that is coming from World Economic Forum, and also this is known as the Future of Jobs Survey that is predicting the jobs. I think these ones are by 2030. So by 2030, it is estimated AI systems will due to AI system, this was this year, so in 5 years' time, due to AI system, we are expected to lose the one in the purple color, about 100 million jobs around the world. This is the estimate. And at the same time, we are going to get new jobs generated in the order of 200 million jobs. So the question is, as a country, where are we going to be? Are we going to be part of the job losing countries or citizens of the job generated ones, or are we going to be in the stable one? In fact, like the stable jobs, there are a lot of studies done on identifying which jobs are more stable and which are not. And those who are in the unstable job, you have to find ways to upskill yourself so that you can either become a stable job holder or one that takes over the new jobs that are generated by AI. So yes, 2 times the jobs are generated, but who will get the opportunity to work and who are going to be disadvantaged is up to individuals and a nation. That is why the country, as a country, we are also looking at it in detail. So this is again something useful. The skills again identified by the same report, the core skills for 2025. This was reported just a couple of months ago. Which skills are important while we are working in the AI era. So the top 10 skills you can see here are analytical thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility. Most of these are things like resilience, flexibility, agility are people skills, not specific field specific skill, as you can see. Leadership, social influence, creative thinking, motivation, self-awareness. So these are, I think, empathy, curiosity, lifelong learning. These are skills that are expected from all, and therefore we had to be mindful and also self-reflect on our skills and how we can be of use and how we can be part of this change that is happening in AI. There are large number of AI tools, so it's the right time for each one of us to identify which tools are useful for us. So agro-specific AI bots, they are there. There are generic tools. There are tools that can generate code. There are tools that are used by researchers and various other tools. This slide is just an example. So make sure we learn and start using the right tool and understand its implication, understand its ethics, understands its impact on society, so that we can be part of this transformation and do well and bring the country's economy and our prosperity to a better level. So that's what I have, and thank you very much for listening. And I'll finish with this quote from Fei Li. In fact, she a very popular American scientist in the late 2010 mentioned this at that time when we had concerns about AI and jobs. AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will, is what she said. Basically, AI is not going to take over the jobs or human activities, but it will be done by those who know how to use AI ethically, with the understanding of the impact of it in the society and also responsibly. So thank you very much for listening, and sorry that we had to have some technical difficulties time to time, and hope we can stop here and I'll let the moderator to take over.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much for that excellent and very informative presentation. Now we have time for questions from Professor Ragel. I think Professor Ragel, we have some, if you have a question, please raise your hand, or you can send your question through the chat box, or there is a separate Q&A box where you can type your question. So, right. Now, Dr. Prabhat, are you going to ask a question? Or you have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. So I have one question to Professor Roshan regarding the global warming and AI, because we are talking about, I think, sustainable farming here. But I have one question, because we talk about using generative AI for sustainable farming. But I'm curious about the environmental cost of running these AI models, because that require a lot of computing power, maybe energy. So could their use actually add to global warming? And how do we balance the benefits to agriculture with the environmental impact of the technology itself? So kind of balancing this sustainable farming and global warming.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhat. Actually, it's a very good question. In fact, this is a generic concern all of us have. When we start using these technologies, are we getting benefited by it, or are we going to lose even what we have? Right. So I'll take one or two examples to explain what's really happening. Yes, one side, yes, technology use, and particularly technology like generative AI, where the data centers and the places where these models are run consume a lot of energy. The recent numbers are in the order of several terawatts. The power requirements. The power requirement is expected to grow. Even now, the power requirement of the generative AI, the data centers are as large as some cities, larger cities. So power requirement is one concern, and therefore it's consuming a lot of. We are consuming a lot of power. There are also predictions by 2030 we will not have enough power to develop AI systems further unless we figure out some other power sources. So that's one concern, power. With power comes the other implications. If you are using things like fossil oil for power, fuel for power, then we are going to bring more problems with the side effects. One other challenge with this sort of data centers and systems is cooling. So cooling again consumes a lot of water. Just to give you some numbers from my recollections, I did some study for another presentation sometimes back. A tool like ChatGPT for generating 100-word text, which is simpler compared to images and whatnot, 100-word text, it requires 140 watts power. 100-word text takes 140 watts power. 140 watts. What does it mean? It means running about nowadays, like this good LED bulbs are about 15 watts. So 140 is 10 of those running for 1 hour. We can run 10 of those bulbs or light 10 of those bulbs for 1 hour, which is the amount of power that is consumed for generating 100 words. The good part about it is these words are generated so fast in seconds, and therefore we are becoming faster. We can do things faster. We can be more productive. But on the other side, we are consuming a lot more power. So that's about power. If you take water, again, the same estimate. These numbers are coming from like OpenAI. 100-word document text. 100 word is very small, right? So 100-word text. The models require, the data center requires cooling using about half a liter of water. So every 100 words you generate requires a half a liter of water or a bottle of water to cool the systems that are using this. So that's the negative side of it. Yes, obviously, I'm just giving a very simple example, but you can imagine the larger implication. You're just talking about one person generating a 100-word document. But if you're going to do something like a training of a model, training of these models consume really large amount of power and water. Like OpenAI do training very rarely, and they estimate the training cost of a model like GPT-4, they call it. And as you know, these models which are trained and new models are generated, and new models are being let to be used by people, and they consume a large amount of this power and energy, power and water. I don't have the exact numbers, but in terms of cost, they are like 100. Each training cost about $100 million. And this is where come like new tools like DeepSeek came and said they can do it bit much faster and cheaper, which are again $5-6 million for one training. So the generation takes a lot of decent amount of power and energy, and then training this model takes a lot more. But what's the good part about this? Is the challenge. Yes, I agree. The good part about it is if you are going to do this work anyway, like for example, generating 100-word text. If you are going to do this work anyway, again, the studies show, if you're going to do it using a computer, sitting in front of it, you type it, the power and energy that is consumed for you doing it and the time that you take is larger compared to one of these models being used and AI being used. So the efficiency wise and also time wise, yes, we are doing much faster with lower power and low energy compared to doing the same amount of work using generative AI tools. So generative AI tools are faster, it consumes power, but things are done quicker. If you're going to sit and do it on your own, you are going to consume even more. Why even more? Is because you are going to use computers, you are going to use AC, you are going to have light, you're going to have a system where you will spend more time doing the same work. So comparatively, if you just compare numbers, using these tools, the tools like generative AI tools are energy or water efficient because they are faster and they can do these things much faster compared to not using them. That's at a very number level comparison. But the real comparison is if we don't have such generative AI tools, would we really generate so much of text? Would you really generate? Would you really need all of that to that extent? That's a question more ethical, more we had to debate about and come to a conclusion. So for now, yes, because these tools are, we are able to generate things fast and in bulk, we are do more things. So here we were again talking today about how we can use this technology to build agro advisor and agro predictor and all sort of different tools. So if you're going to build all these tools, we would have not been building these tools without this and do this so fast. So using these tools can advance agriculture sector to the good or to the benefit. And at the same time, if you just consider doing the same work using without using this high-tech AI tools, and if you're going to do the same amount of work, you consume more power. But whether you can do that amount of work or not is a question, because obviously we can't. Right, so that's where we are. If you just look at numbers, we are showing that the generative AI tools are doing this faster and more efficient, but we are doing a lot more these days. The acceleration of technology, the acceleration of work is increasing. So I didn't give a direct answer to the question, but I gave you both sides. And I hope the answer is up to us to figure out. I see there are.
Okay, I think Professor Ragel, you can answer the. There's one question in the Q&A box and there's one other in the chat box.
Okay. Do you have any recommended AI tool for us to AI in making soil map? Yeah, so specific tools, there are, I see even tools like generative AI tools like ChatGPT has specific tools. You can go and search for tools in the library. So, like tools like ChatGPT has an explorer, an app store where you can go and search for specific tools. So even, for example, if you want to search for agriculture related, I did search for some of them there. So I will not give specific answers for a tool because, to be honest, I don't do research. I don't do specific work in one of these areas like soil mapping, for instance. But there are tools, and if you want to understand how these tools work, and if you know the requirement, we should be able to build such tools as well. In fact, like our research teams, they are building similar tools. So I'll not know specific tools unless I go and search places like this. But the tools are available, and there are also tools now for doing soil mapping and mineral type of mapping using multispectral imaging and various other technologies. Even our research group, some of my colleagues are working on those. But yeah, so specific tool, I don't have a direct answer. I should just be able to go and search and find. I see more questions. Along with green technology and management. So I had a thought, since I am studying chemical science along green technology and management, what parts or areas would be more effective and helpful for the industry when combining knowledge from these fields? Just something that came to mind. So in fact, there's a question about how to combine. So as you see, like specific technology or specific field, I was listing down the core skills that I expected. But the core skills that I expected, things like AI tools, there's very little we can do if we just know certain tools at a certain point in time or certain technology at a certain point in time, because things are changing so fast. So what you have to learn as human being, as also as a learners, is how to learn, how to find this information out, how to filter things which are right and wrong. So those are things, and also things that are listed there. Remember, leadership, resilience, ethical, how to do work ethically, and how to analyze, and how to understand what is right and wrong. So these are things that are more important and specific, field specific. If you are talking about areas like chemical science and green technology, there's a lot of interesting work. For example, now I mentioned this technology like generative AI is coming, and there's not enough power that could be used for leveraging the benefit of this technology. So in situations like this, we had to come up with new ideas, come up with new areas, both in material sciences, both in technology, and various other places. So these are some existing challenges. Again, you should be able to figure out or learn how to identify such areas and then work on improving them. So that's something came to someone's mind, and yeah, there's no question there, but I just thought of sharing. So there are questions like there's one in the chat about whether Sri Lanka uses AI tools in agriculture sector. If not, what are the main challenges that a country like Sri Lanka faces in adapting AI technology for agriculture? Yeah, so a country like Sri Lanka, not specifically for agriculture, in any AI technology, one of the challenges we are facing is the capacity or the skills of the human. So this is where of the workers and people. So this is where things like the skill upskilling, skill development is very important. Even the steering committee is looking for funds and identifying funds on supporting such work, how we can develop upskill any working group, any sector, including agriculture. So that's that's one of the major challenges I see, and I'm sure those who are more in working in agriculture and experts in the field will have more answers to this question. In terms of whether AI is used, I know a few companies who are building solutions, agricultural solutions with AI in it, for using data, predictions, even smart farming, so many other applications. Even we do some collaborative work at research scale. We also work with places like the Agri-Biotechnology Center at the University of Peradeniya. And also there are some companies I know who are doing agriculture related products and services who use AI. But I think in general public, the use of it is very low, and particularly like farmers, for example. But at least we can start doing some of the work like building a local advisor, a local system that can help farmers based on prediction. So just to farmers, they can call a number and get some help or answer questions, not from people, but obviously people doing it is very expensive, and whether it can be done through AI systems. Those are things that we can, quick wins we call, so we can do them faster. And I'm sure if we can work together and work with the experts in the particular field, we can come up with such products. Is it true that AI host companies steal our new ideas which we search in AI platforms? Okay, there's a question whether, yeah, it is true, right? So the question is whether if you search or if you use AI systems, particularly the systems that are free, you use them for free, then whatever you type in there are going to be saved by these companies, possibly for future use. For example, the next time they are building the new system or new model, we call it, they'll use what you typed and the questions you asked and so on. So yeah, they are going to be used by these models or these companies, particularly if you use the tools for free. If you use the tool by paying, then usually you have an option to opt out. You can say, no, don't use my data. This is very important in situations like you share or you use some private sensitive information in the chat with an AI system. That you should not do. If you do, then it is a problem, and whoever is using it can. So what we recommend is whatever the system you use, don't share private information, don't share sensitive information. If you have questions that involve a sensitive information, then anonymize it, say it in a different way, make it general, so that you are not sharing any private and sensitive information to AI systems. So yeah, that happens. Or you had to buy paid versions of these tools and say, don't share my data, and most probably they will comply. They comply technically, but yeah, so practically there can be data leaks and various things. So most of the time it's okay if you use paid system. Any other questions? Yes, one more.
Professor Ragel, there's a question from, actually that was sent a while ago. Roshan Fernando. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, it's at the top. I missed it. Record keeping remains major challenge. Given the fact that record keeping remains a major challenge in Sri Lankan dairy sector, and considering the AI application rely on big data, what practical strategies can be implemented to overcome data limitations and still achieve the best? Okay. Yeah, so data is a challenge, and particularly any sector we take, even if you take something simple as language, like if you want to build a natural language processing system that involves Sinhala or Tamil, particularly Sinhala, because why I say particularly Sinhala is Tamil is also being there are a lot of contribution from India and Singapore and other places. So if you take Sinhala, the amount of text we generate and we curate and make it available is very limited. So, so I just took that as an example. This is for build training models or making models to understand and answer Sinhala text or conversation. But it is true for anything else. It's true for things like this, what Roshani asked about dairy data. So what we are encouraging and what we are planning as a nation and also the steering committee and the ICTA is we are encouraging and identifying sectors where such data available and also coming up with policies and also easier processes and pipelines where such data can be collected and used for training AI systems. So there are a few examples. We are working with research entities in the country and also sectors like the agriculture department. We have been talking to them recently. The committee is going talking to them recently and seeing how we can collect and curate and educate them how to collect this data. So like I was showing you, one of the arm of ICTA on AI is on data. So we are working with the relevant sectors. It's a large area, relevant sectors to identify and help them identify how to collect data properly so that they can be used in training these models. So the good part about collecting such data is we don't really, if we collect data and if we make them available, there are a lot of work that are happening even in the country. As a country, we do a lot of AI related research at different level, bachelor's level, master's level, PhD level, post doctoral level, all different levels. So for now, most of this research, we did an estimate and the numbers are in thousands, 1,000 different research projects that are happening, more than 1,000. And most of these research work is now done on data that are alien, data collected in some other countries. They are available publicly, and we build our systems to make those work on those data and improve the systems based on those data, which are not very useful for our context. So if you collect proper data and if you curate, if you make them data available, then even we as a country can do a lot of improvements to systems and use this data, like Roshani's example. So data collection, curation is a important area. We are identifying some sectors and working with them to upskill and train them on how to collect and curate such data and make them available. In fact, like there's a data portal the government is building where such data can be made available for anybody to use and improve the overall ecosystem. That's a very good question. Thank you. I think we have answered. Yeah. Generative AI impact creativity. Okay. So that's a question about how can generative AI impact creativity and originality in fields like art, writing, and design. So that's a debate that's again happening. How generative AI can impact, influence creativity in an originality, right? So those who are using these tools will realize that these systems are not very creative on its own. They can create things based on what we human describe and do, right? So therefore, generally my personal opinion is there's a lot of debate, like I said, but personal opinion is that creativity is still with people, and these tools are helping us express them better Like for instance, when we start using tools like Photoshop and whatnot, we are able to make graphics better, faster, and so on. But the creativity was with people. Now the generative AI can do a little better, but we still had to have the creativity in us and use the thing that has happened now is that we are able to converse with these tools using natural language. So that gap was bridged, like, or the bridge was built. What I was going to say earlier, where anyone who can talk natural language can communicate with these tools, and these tools can generate, like a tool like Photoshop can now make photos of like images or edit images, make images, generate images by listening to what somebody says, right? So that gap is anyone can communicate with these tools and make them to generate has come, but we still have to talk to them and convey our ideas. So that's where we are. So that's my personal opinion. But so in terms of that, but also there's a debate, yes, whether they are killing creativity, whether they are impacting on the originality. We still think these generative AI systems are not creative and original. Yes, they generate.
Okay, I think we have answered many questions. And now I'm using the liberty, my liberty as the moderator to ask a question. Actually, now, Professor, now we have seen our students, undergrads, are using this AI, different AI tool, mostly ChatGPT, Quillbot, and various tools for their work. So I would like to ask you that what is your take on this and what is your advice to both students and academics about our students increasingly getting into AI. So what can we do about it? And I think there are many undergrads attending this event. So your advice to them, considering that our history, like we didn't have, like when I was doing my exam, I was even not allowed to use a calculator. I can imagine
Yeah.
engineering. So you can, based on that, you can answer this question, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's a good question. In fact, like we are having a lot of discussions about how AI and education. But something that I had to highlight is what I said earlier when I said about Turing test, when I said about even other systems that the graph I was showing how AI systems can do better than people, right? So all those are relying on something like the assessment system we have built. Actually, the assessment is the only way we can figure out whether someone has learned. And it looks like the assessment systems that we have are flawed. They have problems. So we were at a time when these assessment systems were set up, we didn't have a competition. We didn't have AI systems that can do this, like reading comprehension or Turing test or anything else, image classification. But now we are at a time where machines or tools can do this better. So first, as teachers, educators, we had to figure out, or people who are building assessment systems, we had to figure out how to make them better so that the learning can be evaluated. So that's from teacher's perspective, and also what is learning and how what contribute to learning. Say things like, because you brought up calculators. Yes, we didn't allow calculators at a certain point. And I think when I did my exams, like the university exams, we were allowed to use certain type of calculators and not certain other types. Programmable, no, the other ones, yes, and so on. And over time, now that we allow every calculator possible out there in the market for exams. Our exams is engineering exams. Now we allow. So things are changing with time. So same, I think, with AI, but it's a more disruptive technology, and therefore we had to rethink how we do assessment, how we do learning, what contributes to learning and what is not. There's a big discussion that I see, like a lot of papers in education related journals are coming out in that direction. So we have to work on that in that angle is my opinion. But at the same time, I would also to the learners and also particularly the learner students, particularly who are in this call, I would suggest you take a step back and reflect on what you are doing, right? So if you think that you can pass exams and get grades and go and start working somewhere by asking a question to a tool and getting its answer, copy paste, and be content, happy about it, you should rethink about it. Why so? Is because if you think so, every employee out there would think the same, right? So then what are you going to do? You will not have employment. The employers will hire few chatbots which are much cheaper, $20 a month, which is so much cheaper than your salaries and work. So even this is the same thing I am telling my students as well. Rethink what you are doing. Use these tools for learning. There are so many opportunities, so much you can do to learn using these tools. So use them for learning. There are plenty of resources on how you can use these tools for learning, improve your learning, and understand what learning is and what are the current trend and what are the skills that are expected out of the graduates now. Use these tools to understand those and learn those skills and do them better. And if the education system is still not fixed, like I said, the assessment issue I mentioned, that doesn't matter. You are still the learner. You can make use of this opportunity. So don't try to use this. There's no point of using these tools to cheat the system. By doing so, you are cheating yourself, right? So it's not going to be helpful. The employers who are going to employ you, pay you, and give you jobs are much smarter than you and more have better understanding of the system than you, and therefore they are not going to give you jobs if they can do the same with AI and automation. So find your strength and develop it, learn better. Right? That's what I would suggest. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Very well answered. I think we have reached the end of this session, 2 hour session. If you have any urgent question, I can allow maybe I have one question. Professor Ragel is in the Q&A box. It's a long question, but anyway.
I'm an agriculture undergraduate, and my question is, as agriculture students, we welcome any positive technology towards our agriculture sector, but in a country like Sri Lanka, our agricultural roots are more traditional. So when we bring up a sort of AI-related technologies, some rural farmers may not willing to welcome this. And some cases, if they start depend on these technologies rather than using this technology to make agriculture more convenient. So this dependency on technology might lead to over-reliance and may affect traditional routes of agriculture. Also, this over-reliance may lead to manipulate agriculture and so-called artificial intelligence than in our own knowledge. So can you give suggestions to clear this ethical issue when introducing a technical advancements of agriculture sector? In fact, like that's a very good question. Whoever asked it, Mayumi. So it's very true, but how do we overcome it is by educating, right? So that is it's and also this is not a specific problem for farming. Yes, I agree. There are more rural people, rural community and the society citizens involved in farming. Yes, I agree. But it's not just for farming. There are several other SMEs, small and medium enterprises, where this is again a challenge. So what we can do is the thing is this, right? So if you let it go, if we then they are going to be every other revolution that has happened in the past, industrial revolutions have those who didn't adapt and those who didn't go with the technology and the development have been losing the battle. So what you can do, even traditional farming, AI is not against traditional farming, or any technology is not, right? So it's possible to use technology with that understanding. The only challenge is, yes, whether the farmers and the citizens are skilled and they have the understanding. So this is where we are trying to see education, we are trying to see upskilling, we are trying to see whether we can make the awareness among everyone. And particularly that you are in a field like agriculture, you should be responsible. You take that responsibility because you took the country's money for educating yourself. And now that you are completing your degree, you should see how you can give back, and also how you can educate and make this farmer community, or those who are in the those who have lower level of literacy in things like technology, in things like AI. So that's something that we had to do. That's the way forward. Even traditional farming, the traditional methods can be preserved and maybe improved by using technology. So if not, we are going, yeah, those they are going to lose. They are going to lose the battle while others and technology take over. That's the short answer. Thank you for that very good question.
Okay, can we wind up this session now? I think I want to say a few things before I wind up. So thank you very much, Professor Ragel, for very informative presentation on AI and in general, and also AI use in agriculture. And actually, until today, I'm not an AI expert, but we are excited about the prospects of AI. But I think you open our eyes on the negative, the downside of AI. What we should be careful as the global citizens about this AI taking the entire world by a storm. So I think that one was very informative. In fact, this morning I had to do my homework for this thing. So I did 30 to 40 minutes of work with AI, Google Gemini and also ChatGPT, and I asked about AI in agriculture and in fact, I got them to do a deep research, and in fact, Gemini generated about 25-page report. And actually, this would answer that Mayumi's question also. One of the things, like I just had a glance at that report of Gemini, and the one thing I quickly got my attention was that the quantifiable impacts and benefits of AI in agriculture. This is a table generated by Gemini, so I need to verify. But the thing is, like it says, crop yields can be increased up to 25%, and water usage can be reduced by 30%, and fertilizer consumption up to 25% reduction. And strikingly, the herbicide use up to 90% reduction, and also pesticide need 97% decrease, and labor cost 40% reduction, and there are other things. But what striking feature was that the dependence on pesticides and herbicides, I think that is a very, because I think as Professor Ragel mentioned in his presentation, some images used in disease identification and application of herbicides, separating crops and weeds and all that. So there are a lot of good things about AI. So and also we need to be careful about the negative sides. And also another thing I have realized that we need to include the AI in our curricula in undergrad, even though like we are not studying deep computer science, but I think it's high time that we introduce some AI courses. As you very correctly mentioned that you have proposed to include AI in school level. In fact, I even heard that some politicians also talking about the inclusion of AI in education. So that means, like, by the time if we don't introduce these things to universities, I think it will be too late. So I think it's high time. So there are many things, many positives we have taken out of this presentation, and also some of the questions, some good questions asked. So let me thank all the participants staying until now. It is, I think, so past 9 o'clock. I think in China maybe 11 plus something. right? If you're in China, right? So thank you very much for being with us and also and asking questions and also I would like to especially thank Professor Ragel to agreeing with the timeline of this presentation and delivering this speech. That's very useful, and also we really appreciate your presence from the host, the ISA, the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Florida. Thank you very much, Professor Roshan Ragel, for delivering this speech. So thank you very much. If you want to say something, you can do it now and we'll wind up the session.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure, like I said at the very beginning, being with you all and contributing a little to a field that is so important to the country, and wish you all the best. I hope we can together do something good here. Yeah. Thank you. So you are muted now. Are you?
Yeah, thank you very much again. So I'm wishing you a good night. It is almost 9:10 here in Sri Lanka. So thank you very much again and have a pleasant rest of the night. Good night.
One more thing. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
And thanking both of you, and also to all our participants, as a token of appreciation, you will receive a certificate of participation micro rewards. So with the generous support of LEARN. So please check your email from MR platform, and so the further information for the details where you can access all your e-certificates related to ISA 2025 in one convenient wallet. So thank you once again, and have a pleasant evening.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhat. Yeah, we'll wind